Hello everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of my Pokemon Platinum Let's Play. I am Magnificent Entertainer, Bulbagarden's multimedia executive, and in the last episode we defeated Gardenia and went around the world to explore what places we could go to now that we had the HM for cut. In this episode, we won't actually be making any story progress. We will actually be exploring a side mode of the game in the attempts to get a trainer card star. Now, for those of you who don't know, your trainer card can have up to 5 different stars on it, depending on various things that you accomplish throughout the game. I don't believe that I've mentioned this before, but I intend for this run to be a 3-star run. We'll be getting one of those stars today, and of course another star will be when we defeat the champion and become the champion ourselves, and the 3rd star is for something that we cannot do yet. As I've mentioned, I believe in the first episode of this series, I do not intend for this to be a catch-them-all run, so we will not be attempting to complete the national dex, just because of how difficult that is. Anyway, with all that out of the way, let's go explore this one place in Eterna that we haven't touched yet. The underground man's house. Going down for adventure. Let's dig up some treasure. I'm from Orberg, I work at the mining museum there. I got advice from the underground man on digging up treasure and spheres. Before I get digging... yes. Armor fossils and skull fossils are 2 things that we can dig up from the underground. They do depend on versions for Diamond and Pearl. They depend on your trainer number for this game. Yeah. And there is a multiplayer mode that we will be exploring in probably the most pathetic way possible later this episode. But without further ado, I am the first to have gone underground and dug some tunnels. You can call me the Underground Man. Everyone else does. I'll make a gift of this to you. You hold up your end of the deal and put it to good use. And we get the Explorer Kit. My gift to you, the Explorer Kit, will instantly take you underground. You need only use it, and you will be down in the tunnels. The underground is a different world where you can do this, that, and the other thing too. Let me mentor you into becoming a full-fledged spelunker. Will you take on that challenge? Yes, we will. Well said, my young friend. I will teach you by assigning you missions. First, go underground. Going underground is quite easy. Simply use your Explorer Kit. Alright, well, since we actually will be using our Explorer Kit quite a bit in this episode, I'm actually going to register that. By registering that, or registering a key item, you can actually bypass going into the menu altogether and just hit the Y button instead. But, of course, you can't actually go underground in someone's house, because that's rather rude. So you actually have to go out of his house, and it automatically saves the game for you, so I hope to God nothing happens with this recording. And we just create a giant hole in the middle of the city. And you can see, here's Rourke. Hey NG, is this maybe your first time here? Welcome to Sinnoh's Underground. Huh? Where is this, you ask? Doesn't the radar make it obvious? What radar? You mean Radar O'Reilly? This is a giant underground network of passages underneath Sinnoh. Huh? What am I doing down in this expanse of a place? That's kind of hard to answer. I mean, you can do pretty much anything you want down here. So, can I just wander around and increase my Pokemon's happiness? No, steps down here don't count towards happiness. Can I challenge a gym leader? You're down here, can I challenge you to a rematch? Oh, just digging up treasure, spheres, and secret bases. Fine, you can't actually do anything down here. What do you mean I should talk to the Underground Man in Eterna? How do you think I got here if I didn't talk to the Underground Man? I have to get going now. I'll see you around. Up, and away! Well, since our first task was literally just to go underground, let's follow. And we spin around in circles and just levitate straight in the air. Alright. What do you got for us now, old man? I see that you've gone down to the underground tunnels. Yes, of course. Well done. Take these as rewards. And he gives us a move trap, a bubble trap, and a leaf trap. As Admiral Akbar would say, it's a trap! Those are called traps. They're triggered when stepped on. The underground is a place where you can go with your friends. You might try setting those traps when you're down there with others. Now, what should I assign you next? If you talk to him again... Yes, it is big and empty. But that's only because you are a novice spelunker. There are many hidden things down there that are not visible to the eye. For my next test, I want you to dig up some treasure spheres for me. While underground, check the radar for yellow spots. Go to such a location and search for treasure using the touch screen. Alright, I'll explain how to do that when we actually get down there. But yeah, this actually does predominantly use the touch screen as your primary screen, but you see that the main screen up top is just one giant map, essentially. And you see those little golden markings over there on the top screen. Those are where you can find treasure. Hello. Just the one thing to note is because this is technically a wireless mode, it's a little bit delayed. Anyway, you saw here when I clicked on the bottom screen that there were some sparkles, some of which were in the wall, but some of which were actually out here in the path. If I click on that, I can disengage a trap, because that's exactly what it is. However, if I keep walking like a doofus, I can engage a trap, and now I have to remove it by touch, so I'm basically just rubbing the touch screen at the bottom until it all goes away. Which does not allow you to keep the traps. So if you want to get more traps, just don't activate them and disengage them. There are several different kinds of traps. I honestly won't be going over all of them, probably because I don't actually know what all of them are, but they are useful if you actually want to have secret base wars with your friends. I have no friends, so I will be... Like I said, we will be covering the multi-part of this in probably the most pathetic way possible. Anyway, if you see a sparkle on the wall and you click there, you'll see that the wall is bulging slightly and you can dig into it. You have two tools. You have a hammer and a pick. And it'll tell you that there are 3 items confirmed in the wall. And yes, the sledgehammer and the pickaxe are what allow us to dig up stuff. But if you see up at the top, there's, well, I'll show you. So we'll start with the sledgehammer. And you can see, you know, we found something, but we also created a little crack in the wall. So, being a little bit more careful with the pickaxe, we can dig out, and that is a prism sphere, I believe, which is a bit of an oxymoronic term. The sledgehammer does allow you to find things, or to uncover things a little bit easier, but it does create more cracks in the wall. So there's a green sphere, and over here is a blue sphere, and that's everything that we had in the wall. Yeah, we got a prism sphere, we got a blue sphere, and a green sphere. Now, spheres are only useful down here in the underground as currency. Currency for what? Well, we'll get to that in a bit. But in the meantime, let's keep trying to find other stuff, because you can find a lot of good stuff here. There are 3 items in this wall. Now, I'm not... Oh, and then that can sometimes happen, where you hit like a metallic object in the wall, and that just causes a crack, and, well, it's bad. Oh, what's this? Huh. Well, that's pretty cool. And then down here is a sphere. I don't think we're going to get everything that's in the wall right now, but that's an interesting item over there. Yep, you can see we didn't get everything, but just because the wall collapsed doesn't mean that you lose it, so I got the light clay and a blue sphere. So even if you do miss an item or two, it's not going to take away everything just because the wall collapses, which is nice, because like I said, I'm not actually very good at this. My solution, as with pretty much everything, is to just sledgehammer. Oh, you can also find shards down here, and it looks like we've got 2 of them. Shards are also a useful currency, but that's a currency for something that we can't do yet. And there's object number 3. There can be up to 4 different objects in the wall at a time. And yeah, one thing to note is even though your inventory, your bag space in above ground is not is unlimited, your item space down here is limited. So you do have to keep that in mind, and we got 3 more somethings in the wall here. And one of them is a sphere. And another one of them is a sphere. I'm probably going to be doing a lot of digging down here. And the third one is, of course, a sphere. I'm probably going to be doing a lot of digging down here, you know, off screen, just in case. I don't know, you know, I'm looking for, you know, one item in particular is whatever fossil that I've got for this playthrough, just because I want to show how reviving fossils works. So, in addition to actually finding shards like we found earlier, you can actually find plates too, which, you know, I probably won't be doing because that's pretty rare. But yeah, just something to note that you know there's a lot of good stuff you can find down here. I think that light clay is pretty rare. You can also find heart scales down here. You can find various evolution stones and things like that. So, you know, lots and lots of good stuff. If you were looking and if you're willing to take the time and try to find it. Like I said, I'm going to show a lot of digging on screen, you know, see if I can find anything interesting. I mean, I found that light clay, but see if I can find anything a little more interesting. But it seems like I'm mostly digging up spheres right now. And, oh, there we go, pale sphere. That is another kind of sphere, it's sort of rare. I believe you've got red, blue, green, pale, and prism. That seems to have cleared out this area as far as treasure goes. You can see that there are some areas over here that are not connected to the main area. If you look at the map up at the top, you can see that there are a lot of areas that are disconnected from where we are, and you know, depending on where you go underground in the from Sinnoh, or even from some of the locations that we can get to in the post game, will depend on where you end up. I believe there are 5 different areas you can be down here in the underground, with obviously the smallest being you know, that kind of central area that you see that's pretty small. But you know, again, depending on how you want to do this, if you actually wanted to do a real secret base war with your friends, putting your secret base in a... Ooh, lots of good stuff down here. An alert trap. There's another trap. Yeah, a couple of traps, actually. One over here. A leaf trap. And a move trap that would have literally just moved you straight into the wall, so brilliant to whoever put that there. And we got 2 somethings in this wall. What do you want to bet I don't find? Well, I was going to say, what do you want to bet I don't find either of them, but I immediately find both of them. And they're both spheres. Spheres are, of course, different sizes. The larger the sphere, the more valuable it is. Again, spheres are currency. Oh, 4 somethings in the wall. Hope that they're good. And of course I keep hitting empty spots. Well, not empty spots, the spots that are taken up by Alright, well I should be able to get at least 3 items from here. The problem with some of the smaller items like heart scales is that they're so small, finding them is actually like a stroke of luck. And I don't have terribly good luck when it comes to stuff like this. So, let's see, I think there were some more items. Yeah, whole nice vein of stuff we can get over here. 2 items confirmed. And one of them is this here sphere. Doesn't look like I'll be finding that other item. Oh well. Like I said, I'm kind of bad at this. But it's still a fun side mode, and it's still definitely something that you can find some really good stuff in. I won't be keeping y'all just watching me digging for like 3 hours straight, because that's not exactly fun for anyone. And like I said, I'll probably be looking for a bunch of good stuff off screen at the very least. If I don't happen to find a fossil on screen, I will definitely look for one off screen. Well, probably not going to get that third object, so might as well just hit things with the sledgehammer. That solves all problems. And then I believe there was one, yes, right over there. 4 items confirmed, so odds are decent that we'll find at least one of them. And so we did. Ah! There's a heart scale. Very nice. I believe I've mentioned that heart scales are also a currency for something that we can't quite do yet, but it's very useful. And there's item number 3. Let's see. Probably not going to get item number 4, but that heart scale is... Oh, well... No, I found it, but I can't get it. Partially excavating something does not allow you to keep it. But that heart scale was good, though. And I think if we cleared out this area... No, there's still one spot we can take a look at up here. Ah, another wall with 4 items in it. Oh, there's another shard. So we're actually getting pretty lucky with some of these items. This particular wall seems to enjoy the color red because we've got a couple of red spheres and a red shard. Nothing wrong with... Oh, and it turns out that the entire wall is red. Nothing wrong with that. Alright. And it looks like we cleaned this area out pretty good, because you can tell there aren't any gold sparkles there anymore. You can see where you are based on where the little red dot is. So I'm going to move around, see what else I can find down here, maybe dig a few more locations, and then just move on to the next objective. Like I said, don't want to keep y'all here watching me dig all day, because that's kind of boring. Yeah, you can see just by the motion of that red dot that indicates where I am, you can see just how big this particular area is. And this was something, by the way, that I never actually dealt with until relatively recently in Diamond and Pearl. I guess while I'm down here and just kind of digging stuff up, I actually, after playing Ruby and Sapphire, I stopped playing Pokemon for a while. And I actually didn't get back into Pokemon. Hey, another heart scale. Didn't get back into Pokemon until shortly before Black and White came out. Now, for those of you who know me, that's actually kind of a weird thing for me to say, because I've often said that, in my opinion, the golden age of Pokemon was essentially between Emerald and Black 2 and White 2. And I actually didn't play those games. Most of those games I did not actually play when they first came out. Just because I stopped playing Pokemon for a while. As much as I hate to admit it, I actually went through a phase in my life where, I didn't play Pokemon just because it wasn't cool to like things that were for kids when I was an adult. Obviously, I grew out of that phase, and, that's gotten better, but, yeah. So I really, Emerald version, Diamond and Pearl, Platinum version, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, those games I did not actually play when they first came out. So the whole Wi-Fi mode, the whole doing things with your friends and things like that, I didn't actually do until relatively recently. I hadn't realized that the Underground actually had a lot of area for you and a lot that you could do even if you were by yourself. It's just something that I missed out on during the heyday of, and that's entirely my own fault. So really, the lesson to be learned here is, if you like something, it's okay to like that something, even if it's quote-unquote for kids. Just be true to who you are, and, just there's nothing wrong with liking what you like. And, well, I guess one thing that I can show since I happen to stumble across this guy. You've got a sphere or two? If you do, I'll trade you for something. Alright. So you can see he's got a bunch of different accessories. He's got a vending machine, a small bookshelf, a crate, a container, a shop shelf, and they all cost different amounts of spheres. I like the vending machine. Now you can trade him a sphere of the exact size that he's looking for, or larger. So we happen to have a green sphere 08, and we got ourselves a vending machine. We could also sell back to him, but as you can see, we paid a size 8 sphere for it. He'll give us a size 4 for it, which is not phenomenal. Now this guy, I believe he'll change what items he has every day, and you can actually see talking to him opened up some areas for treasure digging, but unfortunately that's in an area we can't get to, which is very annoying. Now you see over there that it says that I talked to someone, that NG talked to someone. Unfortunately, if I go under my card down here, that doesn't actually count towards number of people met. It does give you a bunch of specs as far as what your score is. I don't actually know how you're scored down here, but you can see even though I talked to that hiker down there, it doesn't count towards number of people met or gifts given. I have not obtained any flags yet, and I haven't dug up any fossils, or I guess hit any... Well, I did actually hit a trap. Maybe that's number of people who have fallen in my traps, but that's... so those are just some specs. You can actually also, if you want to, like I said, space in your inventory down here is actually limited, so at any time while you're down here, you can move these items to your actual bag, otherwise you won't actually see them at all. And you can see, I've got... Oh, it's not an actual vending machine, it's just a toy replica of a vending machine. I got ripped off! Lovely. Anyway, since it doesn't actually seem like there's anything... I'll check the radar one more time. Yeah, since it doesn't actually seem like there's anything else for us to do as far as digging, I'm just going to go up and continue our quest for the Underground Man. And you can see, it doesn't matter where I am when I go up from the Underground. I should just pop right back up to where I was in the Overground. Anyway, what do you got for us now? Ah, you dug up what I was looking for. Good job on finding it. Well, what were you looking for? Well done indeed. Take these as your reward. And we get a Prism Sphere 1, a Red Sphere 1, a Blue Sphere 1, and he basically tells us what we already know. Fossils and stones can be dug up and brought up from down under. Spheres cannot be brought out because they're just useful down there. Now, what do we do next? He wants us to use some spheres. And one of the things we can do that I hadn't already shown with spheres is you can bury them. So let's go and bury some spheres. And yes. And we'll create a giant hole right underneath the ground of the underground man's house. There we go. And it doesn't suck in the underground man's house. Alright, so now, if we go to our spheres, we can put in, he just gave us a bunch of level 1 spheres, which are not so great. So if we put a blue sphere 1, we can bury it there. And, if we were to come back the following day, the sphere would have grown by 1. But, one thing that I can show you is if we take another one there, and I'll just see, I think I've got a couple of other, well, alright, I don't, but we'll put in another blue sphere. We'll put in this blue sphere 10. And now, if I check my radar, you'll see that that's my sphere right in front of me. Now, other people can't see that, just I can, but if I pick it up, now I get a blue sphere size 11. So, it's not perfect addition, because you saw I put down 2 size 1s and a size 10, but it's certainly a lot faster than trying to wait, for that blue sphere size 1 to grow after 10 days to a size 11. So that's nice. You can do that if you've got a bunch of smaller size spheres, and you kind of just want to, because sphere inventory is also limited. So if you wanted to combine a bunch of, just keep in mind some items actually do cost relatively low amounts, and while you can always pay at the exact price, if you don't have a sphere that small, you will have to pay with a larger sphere even for something that costs less. So again, you can see actually I think that was perfect addition there because it was 2 1s and a 4. That's really all there is to it for burying spheres goes. That's very, very useful if you're trying to, if you want to make your inventory, your spheres grow, or if you want to combine a bunch of spheres into one and get something that you might not be able to get otherwise. Aside from that, that's pretty much all there is to this particular task, so we'll head back up. And we'll talk to him again. Well, no they won't, because I actually picked them up. And now he gives us the digger drill. And of course, the next thing is to make our own secret base. Which we will do with a plum. This is another fairly quick task, and of course this is important for the multiplayer aspect to the underground, or at least one of them. I'm not going to be very creative, so I'm right here. I've got, I believe it's under treasures? No. Traps. And you can just use the digger drill immediately. It doesn't actually matter where you do it. Your secret base is going to be the same size. It's going to be the same shape. This isn't like secret bases in Hoenn where it's different depending on where you are. And, of course, you can decorate your secret base. But you can see over here you've got a little computer, you've got a flag, and you've got a bunch of different rocks down here, a bunch of different boulders. If you go to the computer, you see you can decorate, you can store goods, you can receive goods. You can check flags. You can see, of course, I haven't obtained any flags yet, but you can see, I believe it's the 5 most recent flags that you've gotten and who the trainer ID is of the poor sap whose flag you've gotten is. Now I do happen to have the vending machine, which I can store in my PC, and I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but we'll put the vending machine in the corner over there. And of course, if I go up to it, I can't actually buy myself a drink, heaven forbid, because it's just a toy replica of a vending machine, not an actual vending machine. And that's really it as far as secret bases go if you're not going to do anything multiplayer. You can go back up to the surface. And we've done it. Ah, you made your secret base. Excellent. I thought I might have been asking too much of you, but you did it. Well done. And he gives us a plain table and a wooden chair. Personally, I like my vending machine better. We also get a small bookshelf and a Baneri doll. Yes, you can only use the digger drill once. If we want to move our secret base, we need to get another digger drill, which one of the vendors down in the underground will trade us for some spheres. And now here is his final test. Well, like I said, I got a little bit ahead of myself. So because I've actually done that already, I'm gonna pop out of the house and pop back. I don't even know if I have to pop out of the house and pop back in. But yes, I've even managed to decorate my secret base. Yeah, don't forget to close the door. We don't want any visitors getting hurt by walking in on you, presumably moving the furniture around or the items around. Yes. And as our reward, we get a Piplup doll. I believe he gives you the doll of whatever starter you chose, which again, that's an item that you can put in your secret base. Now, for the more complicated portion of this episode, I am going to try the multiplayer aspects of this game, of this particular mode. And we're going down to the underground for real this time. We're not popping back up to Eterna City anytime soon. We are now in the underground, and you can see our secret base over there. Now that we have a secret base, you can see where it's located based on that big red square flashing on the screen. And of course, you know, this being a multiplayer thing, I do need some assistance from other players or other save files. And so, I have actually my second 2DS and my older DS all set up. And well, would you look at that? I've multiplied. It's me. It's myself. And it doesn't look like the DS is working, so that's all you get. Now, for my own convenience, I've put the secret bases next to each other because there's something that I can do. You know, I just want to be as efficient about this as possible. Now, if I sneak into the alt account's secret base, you can see I've actually done a bit of decorating here, and I believe he's also got a vending machine, along with some of those other items that the underground man gave in that particular save file. But what's this? If I try to check his PC, I can steal his flag. Oh no. And I just go straight over here. And you can see that the music changed now that I've got a flag. And one flag has been registered, so we get a bronze flag, and that means, you know, we can display up to a dozen different decoration goods and put away one of the big boulders. You can see that change in our PC looks slightly fancier. That's nice. But one other thing is I can actually talk to my alt account. And I can greet and show the trainer card. Yes, yes. And you can see, you know, talked to one, well, he talked to 32 people. And that's all we can do. I'm talking to myself. Isn't that lovely? Now, you're going to want to do this 32 times at least if you want to catch a certain Pokemon that we're going to see later on. This is going to get a little bit tedious, but while I wasn't going to sit here and show you me digging all day, I don't think it's too much to ask for you to see the different progress that I make when I'm putting away flags. Like I said, this is how you get one of, well, actually, I don't think I explicitly said it, but this is how you get one of your trainer stars. So you can actually technically get a star on your trainer card before the second badge. It takes a little while because, of course, you've got to get your flag all the way up to Platinum, and that takes 50 different flags. So, you know, good luck with that, but once you've gotten 50 different flags, yeah, it's 3 for silver, and then I think 10 is gold. And then it's all the way up to 50 for a platinum flag. And you can see my alt account's kind of just standing there like a lemon. But I could technically be talking to him every single time that I go, as long as I'm not actually holding the flag. Like, if I tried to talk to him while I'm holding his flag, well, yeah, you don't have time to stop and chat, because I'm stealing his flag. I do kind of like that flag stealing music. Yeah, so you don't actually have to go above ground every time to yeah, you don't have to go above ground every time to change that. You just have to go in and out of their secret base, or in and out of your own secret base. Basically just do something that turns off the wireless connection. So yeah, technically leaving the underground will do that, but, you know, so will just entering and exiting a secret base. Now again, like I said, this is the cheapest possible way to get the trainer flag, but it's also fairly easy. How many have I got? Hello, computer. Yeah, 5. So I need to do this 45 more times. Which, you know, again, that'll get a little bit tedious, but at least I don't have to deal with the lag too badly. Of course, in a side mode such as this, that actually uses the wireless functionality, you can have a lot of lag, and it takes you a little bit of time to get from one place to another, the more people that you have down there. So I guess it might be a blessing in disguise that my DS isn't working. But yeah, it's gonna be a while. You can, of course, talk to the guy over and over again, and it's tedious. But, you know, again, there is a reason to talk to people down in the underground, and there is a reason to try to get the flags. The flags will get you your first trainer card star. The talking to people will get you something a little bit later on. And I do want to show this, because I will say, you know, because I didn't actually do the underground for a while, this was actually something that I did not realize you could do for a long time myself, and I don't think that there would be very many people who don't know about this at this point, but, you know, just in case there's somebody else like me, you know, I just kind of want to show it for the sake of showing it. Oh, you know what? We'll talk to him. And, yeah, you don't... you could also technically give gifts and exchange things like that, but it's not worth it. Oh, look, there's another one. And no, that's not anything, that's not some random person that suddenly ended up on my Wi-Fi. That's the DS account finally kicking in, and you can see that the trainer sprite's a little bit different because that's using the Diamond sprite, not the Platinum sprite. Now, I can actually talk to both of these knuckleheads. And if you try to talk to someone who's already occupied, well, it gives you a little thing that says this person seems to be occupied. And this is what happens when someone from a different one talks to you. Like I said, very cheap way of doing this, but it is a way to do it, and it's the only way that I have of doing it because I'm alone and I have no friends. Well, at least no friends in this general area, I should say. Oh, but you can see, yeah, I mean, it gets slightly laggier the more people you have down here. So again, you know, making this as short as absolutely possible is actually a good way of taking care of this. And that's one. And that's two. And like I said, this is very tedious. But it will be worthwhile both as far as, you know, completing a task for the trainer card and for that thing that I want to show later on. Again, I really don't know, for that thing that I'm going to be showing you later on, I really don't know how you were supposed to make this connection, because I never did, and I was never sure how to do this one thing in the game. And hey, look, 10 flags have been registered, so I got a gold flag. And we got a radar upgrade that I think we can access from here. Hello? Yeah, it says use radar now. And we can search for treasure. And we see treasure, like, pretty much everywhere that's in the underground. It doesn't actually look like any of that. Oh, wait, no, some of that is. But, you know, we could do that. If you had an actual secret base war that you were doing, you could search for traps. And this is the primary function of traps, by the way, is to prevent people from stealing your flag. So, sorry. And yeah, slowly but surely, we're making progress. This may be a time when I regret not doing any cuts in my episode, but you know, it's something to do. It takes a while, and I'm not helping by trying to talk to people while I'm doing this, but I think it's a relatively efficient manner of doing this, and it can take, you know, it can take a while. It can be a lot of fun for you to have with your friends, assuming that you have those. So that's, again, it's something nice for you to do. And you can see now, we've talked to 9 people, our score has gone up, we've obtained 11 flags. We're slowly but surely making progress. Now, unfortunately, these 2 over here are not actually getting any benefit from talking to me over and over again because they're not going in and out of Wi-Fi. So, that's nice. It'll be a little bit better when I can just snag flags and not have to worry about talking to people. Actually, I might just snag flags and worry about talking to people later, but it just seems slightly more efficient because I'm already going in and out of bases to just talk to them while I'm on my way from one base to the next. I don't know. There's definitely better ways to do this if you can actually coordinate with multiple people and not be alone in your den like I am. But I think I've made fun of myself enough for that at this point. And just, it's a very tedious and monotonous thing. But again, the main useful part of this is actually the single player mode, so you don't even need other people to take advantage of the most useful parts of this. I mean, if you wanted to customize your secret base, yeah, you absolutely should or you should try to get 50 flags, because that's what's going to allow you to put away all of these boulders. And put up as many decorations as possible. But again, the entire secret base thing is a multiplayer thing in and of itself. So, it's definitely something to it's something nice. It's a nice personalized aspect to the game, but it's not something that's 100% necessary at all. You can go in here, you can mine for treasure, you can get a lot of good stuff, and you don't even need to make a secret base at all. You don't even need, you don't need that. You don't need any kind of customization. Again, I kind of do like secret bases, and I think that it's a big shame that I think this is the last generation where we actually get any kind of secret bases. So, even though they're not as cool as they were back in Hoenn, well, okay, obviously the remakes of Omega Ruby, the remakes Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, of course, being the exception since they're the remakes to the Hoenn games, but, Hoenn and Sinnoh seem to be the only regions where you have secret bases, and again, it's not as good as it was when it was in Hoenn, just because, Hoenn, you actually had different terrains you could make your secret base on. It was a different size, it was a different layout, and it really just all depended on where you used the move secret power. Whereas here, I could make my base here, I could make my base literally anywhere else in the underground, and it just looks exactly the same. And unlike in the Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, unlike all of those, you can't even, you have a limit to the number of decorations that you can put up, and you've got limited space until you actually complete a multiplayer aspect of the game. So that's kind of sucky, to be honest. We're starting to get up there. I think talking to 2 people at once is making this go by a little bit quicker as far as number of people that I need to talk to. Number of flags that I need to get, 50 is 50, but I've literally made this as expedited as possible. I don't think it's possible to have 2 secret bases overlapping onto each other, but Oh, I guess one other thing to point out that I can't actually, or that I'm not actually going to show you, is, by looking or in the Diamond and Pearl Underground, all three player sprites are identical, and they're all the Diamond and Pearl player sprite, just because the Platinum sprite did not exist at that point in time. So, it's one minor difference between the Diamond and Pearl Underground and the Platinum Underground. And yeah, you can't grab multiple flags at once. If you try to grab a second flag and save yourself some time, it'll tell you you've already got a flag. And how many flags do I have? 17. Wow, this is going to take a while. Yeah, so I guess, I guess something else that I can talk about while we're doing this is, well, while I'm doing this, and I do have to kind of concentrate, but, something else I can talk about is, again, a lot of things that I like about Diamond and Pearl, but I liked about Platinum better. The story in Platinum is great. I've already said that I like Team Galactic as one of my favorite villainous teams. The Underground is definitely one of my favorite features since I discovered it in any Pokemon game at all. Multiplayer aspect aside, even the single player, you can do a lot of good stuff. The multiplayer stuff really is just kind of tedious, and it just seems like... I will say I'm not exactly a very social gamer in general. I tend to not actually game with even in games that do have multiplayer modes, I'm never really one that uses multiplayer mode much. I'm not, like I said, I'm not really a social gamer. So, this, as hilarious as this may seem to, the rest of you, this is really my modus operandi when it comes to video games and video gaming in general. Just because I know it doesn't seem like it, considering how much I can talk and how loud I can be, but I'm actually fairly introverted. And video games are just they're one of the methods that I have of kind of being by myself and, and just enjoying, enjoying the time that I get to myself. It's, definitely not something that I take for granted, and it's something to, it's a way for me to kind of just sit back and relax at the end of a long day, and, yes, Pokemon and Bulbagarden and all of that is a way for me to be social about my gaming, but when I'm actually playing the games, I really don't feel like socializing. I don't really feel like hanging out with people. I want to play a game and I want to enjoy myself. And, I know that's kind of ironic considering the fact that I'm doing a Let's Play right now and I'm pretty much just spending my entire time that I'm playing the game talking. Otherwise it would be kind of boring. But, yeah, it's different than gaming with an actual audience. It's different from gaming with an actual other person, just because there's actually nobody here. So I'm essentially talking to myself while I'm doing this. And that's, again, I'm doing this for your entertainment. I'm doing this because I enjoy doing this. I've actually been having a lot of fun with this so far. And I hope that you all have been enjoying this Let's Play so far. But, it's certainly... This is basically typical for how I deal with gaming, is if there is a multiplayer aspect to it, and that does include something that's important towards my completion of the game, this is why I buy multiple versions of the cartridge. This is why, this is why I buy multiple gaming systems. So, like I said, I've got two 2DSs and my old DS actually running right here. So, that's, I can only connect to one of them on screen, and of course the one that I'm connecting to on screen is the same file that I've been using for the rest of the LP. I'm actually getting close. I think this will be my 30th person that I've spoken to down here. So, just one more run of talking to people, and then I can just literally focus on flags, and that's it. So it's not actually going to take all that long. This will probably be one of the longest episodes of the LP, and it's also probably one of the most pointless and or tedious ones. But, again, the underground is a major aspect of the game, and it's certainly something that I would be absolutely remiss if I didn't show and if I didn't talk about. And again, it is one of my favorite features, at least the single-player aspect to it, and I kind of do appreciate that you can, that it's just another method for having fun, or how you can have fun with your friends in a different way. This is not like battling, this is not like, this isn't trading. This is just literally something that you do for the sake of doing it, and that's done it. If we check the number of people that I've graded now, it's 32. Actually say number of flags obtained is 22, so we're almost halfway there, and now I can focus literally just on obtaining flags. I don't have to deal with talking to my other accounts anymore, that are just kind of standing there and not doing much of anything. Yeah. Of course, I actually have to have the account whose flag I'm stealing hang around, because otherwise I can't see their secret base. So that's certainly something that's important. And you can see, because having more people in the underground does cause a bit more lag, I've removed my diamond alt from the underground so that I can actually go a little bit faster. And hopefully that will actually speed things up a bit. Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly fun, it's certainly unique, and it's certainly tedious if you're trying to go for this particular trainer star like me, and you don't have a group of friends that you can play with, and you're kind of just sitting there all by yourself. But there are ways to optimize your performance, and there are ways where you can get that star without using anybody else's help. It actually took me a little while to figure out how exactly I wanted to do this. But I actually have been kind of sort of planning this and how I was going to show it since before, since I realized that I wanted to do a Platinum Let's Play, and I realized that there was this particular multiplayer aspect to the game that I really did want to show, just because it is how you get one of the trainer stars. Like I said, I feel like most people would know this by now, but because I came on board with it so late, it certainly was something that was unfamiliar for me until I saw it in another Let's Play and actually looked up how you get the various trainer stars in different games. So, the 5 ways that you can get trainer stars in this game, the 5 stars that you can get in this game, one of which is from collecting 50 flags in the underground, which is what we're doing right now. That is the first one you can do. The standard completing the game and defeating the champion is, of course, the second way. The third way, and the third star that I will actually be going for, is I believe you have to complete a single master or hyper rank, whatever the highest rank contest is, in one category in this game. So I will be trying that. Contests, contests are also another aspect of this game that I never really got into much. So, that star is going to be slightly more challenging for me. The whole... We'll discuss contests more when we actually get into that. That probably will be a post-game video, though. I'm not going to try to get both of my other stars before I actually get the champion star. Although I could theoretically, because you do contests in Heart Home City, which is actually the next city after this one. So, I could conceivably have all 3 of my stars as soon as I complete the game. But anyway, the other 2 methods are, of course, completing the national Pokedex, which, again, there are way too many Pokemon to make that feasible. I do have, like I said, I do have a regular DS, so, I could use my old copies of Ruby and Sapphire to get in some of the Hoenn Pokemon through methods that we'll see later, but it's way too big of a hassle, and I don't actually have Fire Red or Leaf Green as actual functioning cartridges at this point. So getting a bunch of those Kanto Pokemon is going to be a pain. But I do have copies of Heart Gold, Soul Silver for some of those, and I do have, and for the Johto Pokemon. It's just, it's very tedious, and there's not a heck of a lot to show as far as how you do it. Although, of course, showing how you get this particular star is definitely not the most interesting thing that I could be showing. I will definitely give you that. I think I've been recording for over an hour at this point, which, oh boy, that's lovely. This is going to be fun to upload to YouTube, and especially since the vast majority of it is actually just me running around like an idiot down here. And, I stop and check and see just how close I am, or how far I am, but that's probably just going to make me depressed. So, just keep on chugging at it, and because it's right next to me, this is taking as short of a possible time as it could. Anyway, the 5th flag is, I believe you've got to get 100 consecutive wins in the Battle Tower. Battle Tower is part of the Battle Frontier in this game. I will be showing the Battle Frontier. I don't know how much of the Battle Frontier I will actually be covering. That is a post-game content, as is the National Dex. But, again, I think 3 stars is a decent way that I can go about this. If there was a better reward for completing the National Pokedex other than a Trainer Star, I might have decided to go for it, but in this game, I think literally the only thing that you get is a certificate, and I don't even think I have the means of printing that certificate. I don't even remember if you could print the certificate, so it's really not worth all the time and worth all of the hassle to complete that particular star. And you can actually tell I'm starting to get a little dry mouth because of how long I've been at this. But it's okay. I should be relatively close now. I was almost halfway there when I finished talking to 32 people. So I should be... Well, there's probably still a ways to go. But like I said, I'm not going to actually check because the computer will tell me when I've done it. And, checking just wastes more time. The nice thing about the underground, though, is you can see you can actually run in the underground. Like I've said earlier, things as far as egg hatching or increasing your happiness, unfortunately, that doesn't, any steps that you take down here don't actually count towards that. So that's really a big shame because, I've still got my Badoo that hasn't evolved via happiness yet. And, that's just... again, if my steps down here actually counted towards that, that would be phenomenal, but I completely understand why they don't, because that would kind of be slightly broken. Also, you're not really using your Pokemon for much of anything down here. There's no battles, there's no, there's no Pokemon trading. This aspect of the multiplayer, this aspect of the game, it's a treasure hunt. And it's great. I love it as a treasure hunt. It's got a lot of good items. Like I said, I will be trying to find a fossil. It looks like at this point off screen, because once I've actually completed my 50 flags, I'm just gonna call it a day. Because like I said, I'm looking, and I've already been recording for over an hour at this point, and I've been trying to keep the commentary decent. But it's not so easy when you're just doing the same thing over and over and over again. But yeah, I like the treasure hunting aspect of it. I like the idea behind the multiplayer aspect of it, even though, myself, I'm not a very big multiplayer kind of person. And it does tend to make the underground laggy when it could have potentially otherwise not been so laggy. But it is just essentially a second region in the game that you can possibly explore, which is kind of nice. It's not a region where you can actually visit cities and get gym badges or anything like that. But, it's a good place to get some very useful items. If you have a Pokemon that evolves with one of the... I think it's pre-Gen 4 stones, so I don't think you can find things like the Dawn Stone or the Dusk Stone down here. But you can find Leaf Stones, you can find Fire Stones and Thunder Stones and Water Stones. You can find some good evolutionary items here. One thing that I don't think I've mentioned you can find down here are plates. So you remember that we found the Draco plate, the Dread plate, and the Insect plate by now. You can find one of each different type plate in the Sinnoh region, or I think some of them you don't find until the post-game, but you can find them all above ground. But you can actually, if there's one in particular that you're looking for, now they are very rare, and odds are you won't necessarily find the one whose type you're looking for, but you can actually find plates down here too for every type. So yeah, again, you can find, I believe it's revives and max revives down here. There's a lot of items that I'm not showing that you can find down here just because I'm not actually doing any cutting or massive editing to this, and I just don't want to be digging until I find literally everything. If you were planning on doing a weather team and you don't have a weather summoner, you were looking to use an actual weather summoning move like Rain Dance or Sunny Day or Sandstorm or Hail, you can also find the items down here, the Icy Rock, the Damp Rock, the Smooth Rock, and the Heat Rock, which increase the amount of turns that the weather effect will be around. This is still back before things like drizzle or drought or sandstream or snow warning. This is back before those got nerfed. So if you actually have those, you don't need one of those rock held items, because that's an infinite weather condition that will remain until another weather condition gets put up. So if you were planning on doing one of those teams, and it's going to be a while before you can get your weather summoner, with the ability, you're going for a Hippopotas, but that's not going to happen soon enough. Or actually, I don't think there are very many people with Drizzle or Pokemon with Drizzle or Drought at this point in time. I think literally it's still Kyogre and Groudon, because I'm pretty sure Ninetales and Politoed didn't get it until the next generation. But yeah, if you were looking for something like that, the weather increasing items are down here. That Light Clay that you saw increases the duration of moves like Light Screen and Reflect, if you had a team member that was going to be used for that purpose. So yeah, you can get a lot of good held items down here. You can get some fossils down here, evolutionary items, shards and heart scales, attack boosting items in the form of all those plates. And like I said, a lot of really, really good stuff. And I wish I could spend more time showing that as opposed to just going back and forth between this guy's secret base and my, well, I should say my 2 secret bases. And just dropping off flags, but you know, that's just how it goes. I did want to show off how you can do this. This is the simplest way that you can possibly do it if you don't have anyone else to you know, to play with, or even if you do and you just both want to get your, you know what, I'm here. 49. Well, one more flag. You know, if you had another person that you want, and I mean, you can do this with another person too, and then you just go back and forth between secret bases, dodging each other, not even really dealing with traps. But again, if you've actually got another person, like, half the fun of this is trying to discover the location of their secret base and dodging their traps and so on and so forth. But with that, we have now registered 50 flags, and our flag has become a platinum flag. Which is great. I mean, look at this. Fancy computer, fancy flag. We can put away all of these boulders now. So yeah, that's great. I can't show my trainer card yet because it doesn't show that, but let me close and decorate, and I can put away all these boulders. I'll grab some more items, you know, grab some more decorations at a later point, probably off screen, and you know, I'll show you what my secret base ends up looking like, and just putting away all these boulders is also tedious, so that's how you do it. I've kept you guys far long enough. At this point, it's already almost an hour and 15 minutes. So, I'm just going to go right back. I said go right back to Eterna City. And that's where we're going to end things off here today. So, I will see you all next time.